1,000.
New Day Northwest is back. Now, from the AAA Travel Alcove, here's Margaret Larson.
Hey there, living in the Pacific Northwest, we know that mountain lions are our neighbors and they're fascinating creatures. A new book published by Patagonia called Path of the Puma takes a look at the remarkable resilience of the mountain lion. Author Jim Williams joins me now. It's good to have you here.
It's my pleasure.
Nice to meet you. Tell me how this book came about.
Well, I actually studied mountain lions in graduate school, and that was many years ago. And over the years, I've been fortunate enough to work with colleagues in Chile, Argentina, the Northern Rockies, and 25, 30 years of stories came together in a pretty engaging book, I think.
Help me with the terminology.
Okay.
The puma, the mountain lion,
Yes.
the cougar. Are we talking about the same thing, different things?
So there's right now, and it changes with genetics, but it's down to 6 subspecies, or roughly thereabout, and the Patagonia puma is one. Ours is different on the northern end, and there's some in between, but they're the same, they're all mountain lions, cougars, panthers, puma, that's the same thing, just subspecies.
Got it. Okay, so let's talk about around here. Occasionally we see them. People, grow concerned or grow fascinated. We've injected ourselves into their territory, so obviously that's a little complicated. What is the state of health and well-being of the mountain lion in our area?
Actually, in Washington and Idaho and Montana, all my colleagues know them very well. Mountain lion populations are very healthy. If you have deer, if you have elk, if you have winter range that's undeveloped, you're going to have cats up here.
Yeah, they are. Certainly panthers and that kind of thing were sort of famous as we settled the Americas and the East. How are we getting along, human and mountain lion, now?
Living with wildlife always is going to be a learning experience and a learning curve, because in most communities there's a 3-year churn. So whether it's lions, bears, or wolves, it's a constant education of how to live with these different species. Whether it's garbage for bears, or how to hike in lion country, to carry bear spray.
Exactly.
And,
what you should do or shouldn't do. We talk about this all the time. What is it that fascinates you about these animals, and what are their capabilities that are so amazing?
Well, they're very mysterious. They're rarely seen. They watch us. We don't always know they're there. And they're one of the most efficient large carnivores, predators on the planet.
What do you mean efficient?
They're a stalk ambush predator, and they have to take down live prey to stay alive, and they're very good at it.
That's frightening.
Yeah.
That's sort of scary. And are they fast?
Yes.
Or are they just super stealthy?
They're kind of the sports car of large carnivores.
Wow.
It's a short, fast rush, but fortunately for us, and rarely it does happen, but their food search image is a deer or an elk, or a guanaco or a vicuña down in Patagonia.
Right.
But normally not people.
Normally not people. Are they concerned about us?
I think most large carnivores and ungulates, not necessarily concerned is the word, but they get displaced by us and our homes and our neighborhoods and our garbage and what we do out on the landscape. I don't think concern would be the perfect word.
Do they avoid us?
Oh, yes, by all means. Even bears. Think about how rare those human-bear-lion encounters happen. They do happen, and they're tragic when they do, but it's really pretty rare considering driving downtown Seattle, for instance, and your safety risk.
Exactly. Okay. So what fascinated you about these cats to begin with? Because you've done this for a lot of years now, looking into their stories.
My entire career. They truly represent wild things in wild places, and I love that. They have taken me to people, to landscapes, to science, all things that I care about in my career. I've been very fortunate, and they're an engaging species. Just we're still in the study, learn, discover mode as well, and I love that.
Yeah. Tell me a bit about what we will get out of the book, because the beautiful thing about this is that we may not ever see these cats, but we know they're here. We know their stories. They're beautiful. As you said, they're mysterious. So what can we take away from this read?
I think there's 3 themes, and by the way, the book's beautiful. Patagonia made it, and they've done those beautiful catalogs for all these years. The same team did the photos.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it's spectacular color photos. So you'll take that away. But the real themes are tolerance. How much room can we as humans, as society, make for something like a mountain lion or a puma down south? And then connectivity of habitats. There needs to be protected areas like parks or roadless areas or wilderness, but there's areas in between where these genes flow ebb and flow, and there's conservation work that needs to be done there, connectivity, and a little bit about the value of science and research and education, and that's important in today's world, I think.
As simple as it sounds, I think the photos actually help, because when we see how beautiful and amazing these animals are, we want them to have a chance to thrive. We want everybody to be safe, but we also want them to have a chance to survive. Do you feel like that's part of, I mean, introducing these stories, getting us to better understand these animals, part of getting that instinct in us nurtured so that we know that we need to take care of our world and our wildlife? You're
spot on. The reason I wrote the book was to primarily to get people to keep them caring about something outside versus an iPhone or a TV remote.
Oh,
why should I care about the outdoors and these wild places and wild things? Because the younger generation, it's up to them to take care of this into the future. And that's pretty important to me, and I know the team at Patagonia and all my colleagues that are scientists and biologists. So.
Absolutely. Kids don't always have a chance. We have a lot of conversation about whether animals should be in zoos, whether they should be in enclosures. Kids don't always have a chance to see these animals or go learn to appreciate them. What can we do as parents to engage them and get them perhaps better interested in what it is it takes to sustain our wildlife?
Take them outside. Number one, take them outside, and take them outside often. My kids grew up in the backyard of Glacier National Park, and I grew up, you know, in San Diego surfing. I stuck my head under the water, was inspired. I was a marine biologist, my undergraduate, and I loved it. And of course, it carries into college and graduate school. But the key thing is to take your kids outside so they care about it and they'll fight to protect it and keep it. And I think that's most important. And it's good for the parents as well.
Absolutely.
You know, we're very, very fortunate in this country to have these wild places.
We are, and we don't want to lose those. We need to take advantage of them. What's next for you? Will you continue to write about these cats?
Yeah, this was a big project. It took about 5 years, so probably take a little break, but perhaps in the future. But I have a lot of conservation work yet to do. In Montana, we have you know, pretty much all the species that were always there, and we have a large team of fisheries and wildlife biologists and game wardens. There's a lot of work to be done. Even
well,
so.
We thank you for doing it, because we want this world to survive with all of the animals in it and with our kids appreciating what it is that's out there for them. Thank you very much. Jim is signing books tonight at 7 p.m. at the Patagonia store in Ballard. You can check New Day's website for the full event details. It's always fun to go to Patagonia anyway, so it's a double. Up next, our pal Nancy Guppy is here to fill us in on the fun upcoming events worth checking out. There she is. We'll be back after a break.